I'll finish it. Is you're a friend, Rip. Can't ask you to do that.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 brutal fights on Yellowstone.
I'm gonna give you one last chance. You leave now, or you'll never leave.
For this list, we're looking at the rough-and-tumble times our favorite cowboys and cowgirls got a little bit rowdy and ended up a lot of bit bloody. We're sticking to bare bones, knuckles, and fists, so there won't be any shootouts on this list. And put up your dukes, because you're about to get smacked in the face with some spoilers. Think you can fight like a cowboy? Which showdown is your favorite? Tell us in the comments. Number 10. Kayce Dethrones Rip. He's just so darn sweet that we easily forget how Kayce can be a bad boy.
I want you to remember me standing here, son, before you make that decision, because this is a consequence of choosing wrong.
Anything else?
The Duttons' prized son has always been reluctant of leadership, but John's recent medical emergency forces both men to consider who will take charge after he's gone. Thus, a public brawl between Kayce and head hand Rip Wheeler ensues.
I ain't used to seeing you off my dad's leash.
What's that?
I didn't stutter.
Jackets are shed, punches are thrown, and there's some blood-stained skull grasping that's reminiscent of Game of Thrones' The Mountain and the Viper. In the end, Rip falls to the ground, and Kayce declares victoriously,
You wanna fight? You come fight me.
It's a big moment for Kayce and a huge sacrifice for Rip, as the latter likely lost purposefully at the behest of John Dutton. But that's how much Rip loves the ranch. Number 9. Beth and the Broken Bottle. A woman scorned hath no fury like Beth Dutton. She and Rip went through a long and complex journey to end up together, and you can bet there ain't nothing gonna come between them.
Aren't you a tall drink of water?
What are you doing?
What?
I'm married, darling.
Me too.
When a brunette bombshell sets her sights on Rip, she foolishly ignores the man's warning about his lurking wife.
I'll handle this.
No, don't do that, man.
I'm good.
Hey,
Her overconfident stride towards Beth is met swiftly with a broken beer bottle to the face. The whole bar erupts into chaos, but somehow Beth's tunnel vision only magnifies her intense hair yanking, knee kicks, and then some. After police intervention, she still can't resist getting in one final punch. Even Beth haters joyfully took to Twitter with the realization that when stuff goes down, she's a good rotten egg to have around. Number 8. Rip's Rescue. You could say this was the episode where Yellowstone got real.
All that tough talk, Beth. I've got the cure for that. We'll see how tough you are after I give it to you.
Challenge accepted.
Ma'am.
Tensions between John Dutton and the fearsome Beck brothers shift gears into overdrive when the villains deploy armed assailants to Beth's office. Despite apparent hopelessness, she's able to send a desperate text message to Rip. A flying desk through a shattered window is Rip's way of letting the assassins know he means business. Though the battle is brief, it feels like violent relief after seeing Beth come so close to a bleak and cruel end. It's also exciting to see the burly cowboy be a hero. He even shows his sensitive side as he tenderly comforts his lover. Mess with the bull's wife, and you will get more than the horns. Calling pop culture superfans everywhere. Do you love to argue with WatchMojo's top 10 ranks? Introducing WatchMojo's first and very own party game. Bring your superpowers to the table and fight for your pick to be at the top of the list. It's all the fun of the comment section, but in real life. Number 7. Emily vs. Mia. Ranch hand Jimmy Herdstrom's redemption arc not only made fans love him, but a few pretty cowgirls too.
I didn't see you where I would have remembered.
I was in the stands. You are Jimmy Herdstrom.
You know my name.
His stint in the rodeo paired him with Mia, a feisty barrel racer who was heartbroken when Jimmy was later sent to Texas. Jimmy returned with his arms and an engagement ring around vet tech Emily, who he'd fallen for while away.
Everyone, this is Emily. She's a vet down the 6s, and she's my fiance.
Oh, shit.
Mia needs only to hear the word fiancé to instantly explode with rage. Her reactionary assault gets curbed by Emily's impressive left hook. Wild pummeling ensues, and pulling the two apart is no easy task for the men watching.
Emily! I got 20 on Texas.
Stand by your man takes on a whole new meaning when you're a rancher, that's for sure. Number 6. The barbed wire brawl. Rip is clearly a dangerous man, but this never seemed to frighten newcomer Walker.
Start wrapping wire.
Hell, I'm leaving tonight. You can spend my week's wages at the bar for all I give a shit.
All these great ranches that you worked at, Walker, why not go back to one of them?
The ex-con always appeared too casual about the Yellowstone's rules, and when he refused to obey critical commands from Rip, the bunkhouse leader lost his temper. Rip teaches Walker a lesson with a pair of pliers and a loosely flying strand of barbed wire.
Well, I reckon I got a fondness for the farmer's daughter. Guess we got that in common, don't we?
Walker answers the bloody gash with fists and a switchblade, while Rip fearlessly utters death threats that feel like more than words. Only Lloyd's pistol and promise of, quote, life in a wheelchair stop the confrontation. It's the last straw for Walker, who dangerously announces that he's done with this place, regardless of what that means.
Wherever you go, Walker, I'll find you.
Maybe taking razor-sharp fencing to the face makes death seem less intimidating. Number 5. Beth and Summer's standoff. Beth fights for her man, but even harder for her family. From the moment John began his informal affair with enemy activist Summer Higgins, his daughter viewed the outsider as a threat.
Now, here's a situation I couldn't have dreamed up in a month of Sundays. This is my daughter. She can be a little overprotective.
Season 5 sees Summer living under house arrest at the Dutton Ranch, and Beth won't quietly abide the intrusion. The two take the obligatory walk outside to exchange punches, insults, and chokeholds.
You smug, spoiled, 40-year-old adolescent. You're everything that's wrong with this place. The only thing wrong with this place is you're in it.
Fed up, Rip intervenes and orders them both to stand tall and alternate turns taking blows. Deconstructing combat tactics this way allows for each woman to experience the unedited power of the other. It becomes a somewhat primal means for the rivals to understand each other, and they return to dinner with a refreshed relationship and some toothless smiles.
You all showed me and everyone in it respect, you understand? What respect do I get? You get exactly what you give.
Number 4. The bunkhouse bar fight. After boredom leads to an ill-advised game of cowboy poker, the bunkhouse ranchers retire to a neighborhood saloon, per Rip's irritated instruction. A stranger's unwanted advances towards one of the female ranch hands leads to an unnecessarily outlandish drunken tussle. They probably should have known better than to mess with the Yellowstone boys.
Need to learn the art of de-escalation.
We're with the Yellowstone. No one's gonna mess with us.
Rip and his men return with an unruly bull, which they casually allow into the drinking establishment. The locals get to experience their own game of cowboy poker as the rampaging animal ransacks the place. It's unwritten law that non-members never touch Yellowstone workers, and these poor folks learned that the hard way. Number 3. Why Rip was branded. John Dutton's stylized Y represents ownership over more than just cattle. When that mark is branded on a man, he commits his life to the service and secrets of the Yellowstone.
You be a man about it. Don't scream.
Perhaps no man takes this more seriously than Rip, and a Season 5 flashback showed us why. A young Rip's jealousy over another cowman's advances towards Beth leads to this altercation.
What girl? What do you mean, what girl? One you couldn't keep.
When the stakes are raised with a pocket knife, Rip unleashes his wrath with a stone. The aftermath here is the most brutal part, as Rip's victim struggles to speak in such a way that we can almost feel the internal bleeding ourselves. When John quietly disposes of this eventual casualty, he requires that Rip take the brand, swearing a blood oath to the ranch.
You'll be part of this ranch until the day you die, And you will do for this ranch what I say do. No matter what that is. You understand me?
Number 2. Lloyd's beating. Yellowstone's version of Old Man Wisdom comes in the form of Lloyd, one of the most seasoned ranch employees and bearers of its brand. But his escalating conflict with new worker Walker leads to unsuitable scraps that step on Rip's leadership toes. Rip directs both men to wrestle it out for all to see, and at John Dutton's directive, he makes an example of the winner.
I want you to make an example out of the last man standing. Yes, sir.
This is an especially painful watch, considering Lloyd's previously unwavering loyalty. We get that Rip is making a point, but is it really necessary to stomp on the man's hand?
This is for your protection, Lloyd. You understand me? This is to protect you from yourself.
No matter how tough Lloyd might be, he's still Rip's elder and parental figure. No amount of rewatches are likely to make this scene any easier. Number 1. The ranchers versus the bikers. This is America. We don't share land here. John Dutton's thematic words should have been spoken to the unwise biker gang who decided to take up temporary camp on Yellowstone soil.
You can't be here. It's private property.
Well, this is national park.
That's national park. This is the Dutton Ranch.
After refusing to move, Rip mows down their motorcycles and the two groups of tough guy archetypes go to war. The unwavering ranchers come out on top, with partial thanks to Rip's tire iron skills. When the bikers maliciously return, John Dutton joins his men to reinforce their unwelcoming message. They force the gang to dig and stare into their own graves, assuring the defeated that those tombs would be waiting, should they ever return.
I'm gonna leave these holes, just like this, right here in the middle of my field, and if you ever come back again, I'm gonna fill them, you understand?
If you're gonna screw with the Yellowstone Ranch, maybe just don't. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.